Welcome back to the JDW Sports Talk Show, where every fan is welcome. In today's episode, we're going to be going through the Philadelphia Eagles 2021 schedule, giving you my overall thoughts on every team, every game, going through every game, giving you my overall thoughts. So make sure you give me your overall thoughts on the schedule. Let me know your record prediction, and let me know what you agree or disagree with me. With me. So let's get right into predicting this schedule. So week one, they're at the Atlanta Falcons. I'm gonna give the Falcons this win. The Falcons. I'm gonna take the Falcons offense over the Philly offense. Both defenses aren't the greatest. I do like big play. I do like AJ Terrell. Um, so I'm gonna take the Falcons in week one. Week two, they're at home versus the San Francisco 49ers. I'm actually going to give the Eagles the win in week two versus the San Francisco 49ers. I think that this defensive front is going to get to Jimmy G, Trey Lance, whoever is starting by now. I'm going to take a guess and say it's still Jimmy G. Um, don't get me wrong. I really like that San Fran team, but I don't think it's one of the greatest matchups for them. Yeah, I do like that that offensive line. It is decent. It's decent. It's good, but I think that Philly front is going to get to them a little bit, and I think that's going to be the difference. Yeah, they could play small ball with Debo, Ayuk, Mostert, whoever they need to, but I'm going to take the Eagles in the upset over the San Francisco 49ers. Week three, they're at the Dallas Cowboys, which is a Monday night game. It's going to be a fun game, but I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys. It's kind of similar to the Atlanta team, to the Atlanta game, but I think that the Cowboys have an even more dynamic offense, so not a great recipe for the Philadelphia Eagles, but, if, you know, maybe that front can get to Dak a little bit. Maybe they can limit that run game, but I think that offense can play the small ball they need to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Week four, they're at home versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm gonna take the Chiefs in this one. Yeah, the Chiefs have really struggled in week one in October, the first week in October, which is really weird against below average teams. But I think that the Kansas City Chiefs are gonna beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Week five, they're at home versus the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are a weird team. This is a really hard game to predict. To pick one side. They both have their ups and downs. It's a really good matchup for both teams. Kind of. The Eagles front can handle that Carolina Panthers offense easily. Probably. That Philadelphia offensive line should be fine. I mean, Brian Burns is someone they're going to have to worry about. It's kind of like, the Eagles have the offensive line, but not the best weapons compared to, or at least not proven weapons compared to the Carolina Panthers. But then the Panthers don't really have a great offensive line, but the Panthers do have that Christian McCaffrey. How is Sam Darnold going to do? We don't know. Both quarterbacks, I'm not a big fan. Whose defense is better? I think that this Carolina Panthers playmaking defense is going to be the difference, and that's what I think is going to be the difference in this game. So I'm going to take that Carolina Panthers defense over, the Philadelphia Eagles defense. And, it's a weird schedule, man. I'm having a hard time predicting this schedule. There's some weird games on here. Or not really weird, but, close games. Games are difficult to predict. And then you have week six. They're at home versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as we all know, are one of the most balanced, one of the best teams in the NFL. Obviously, coming off the Super Bowl win, they're going to be one of the best teams and one of the highly regarded teams, especially with the GOAT, Tom Brady, on there. Yeah, he's a GOAT in my eyes, but I think the GOAT gets another win on the Philadelphia Eagles here. Week 7 at the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm gonna give the Raiders this one as well. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Raiders. I don't think they're gonna be as good as some people may think. But, I think that this Raiders team, that offensive line is going to struggle versus that Eagles front. And, I'm not a big fan of the receivers. So, it's kind of not a good matchup on offense. I think the Philly defensive line is better than the Raiders offensive line. So, I think that defense is a little better than the Raiders. So, maybe the Raiders cornerbacks take a step forward in this next year. And if they do, then maybe the Raiders win this game. But until then, I'm going to take the Eagles. No, I'm going to take the Raiders in this game. I probably just said it the whole opposite way, didn't I? I don't know, man, but I'm gonna take the Raiders in this game. Yeah, even though that front can get to Derek Carr and such, I'm gonna take the Raiders in this game. I think. See what I mean about the schedule? Like you can go back and forth with all these games, literally, because their pass rush makes them so difficult to predict. Um, I'm I'm gonna give the Raiders a win here. I'm gonna give the Raiders a win. Week 8 at the Detroit Lions. I think this could be a fun game to watch as well. This could be a game where the Detroit Lions win one of their few games of the year, or however many games they win. Maybe they're much better than we predict. Maybe, that offense line is going to be better. That offense line is going to be decent for Jared Goff. So, I don't think Jared Goff is as bad as some people think. Um, just not as good as he's being paid. I can tell you that. Everyone could tell you that. Everyone could agree on that one. But, um, the Lions don't really have great receivers. The offense line may be able to hold up that Eagles front, but I'm gonna take the Eagles in this one. I think that Jalen Hurts may be able to, maybe outperform Jared Goff. Maybe this is that game where Jared Goff really struggles versus that front. And the receivers are gonna struggle to get open. I'm not a big fan of those receivers, nor am I a big fan of all of the Eagles cornerbacks, but I do like big play. Outside of that, man, it's tough. It's tough. This is a really tough team to predict, but I'm gonna take the Philadelphia Eagles this one. Week 9 at home versus the Los Angeles Chargers. This is going to be a really good game as well. The Chargers are a young and upcoming team. But I'm going to take the Chargers. I'm going to take the Chargers over the Eagles. Yeah, the Chargers offense line is getting much better. It's, going to be a really solid offense line next year. Top 10, maybe. It's a really good offense line. I'm excited to see what this offense line is going to have in store, and I don't think the Eagles are going to, beat the Los Angeles Chargers. They're a young and upcoming team. They're, they're a little further along in the Eagles in their rebuild. I'm going to take the Chargers here. Week 10 at Denver Broncos. This could be a game that the Philadelphia Eagles could win as well. See, I'm going back and forth with, like, almost all these freaking games, man. But I'm gonna take the Denver Broncos this one because I do like that Denver Broncos defense. I do like that offense. I think they are gonna pound the ball this year. That's their big goal. That's what they want to do. Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon, of course. But the big question is their quarterback. Is Drew Luck or Teddy Bridgewater who's gonna be starting by now? I'm gonna take a wild swing and say it's just Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, it's not really wild swing. It's like whatever, but whatever. But whoever it is, I'm gonna take the Denver Broncos over the Philadelphia Eagles. Week 11 versus the New Orleans Saints. I'm gonna take the Saints in this one. The Saints have a really good offensive line, which is gonna be able to limit the Eagles' defensive front, which is gonna not be good for the rest of the game for the Philadelphia Eagles. Um, Week 12 at the New York Giants. I'm gonna give the Giants this first. I'm gonna give the Giants to win the first time around. Giants have really good defense once again. I think they're gonna. I think that offense line is decent. I really like tackles, but the inside of that offense line, I'm not a big fan of. I'm gonna take the Giants in this one. Week 13 at the New York Jets. Um, this New York Jets is a decent team. But that offensive line is not going to be able to handle this pass rush, and I'm gonna give the Philadelphia Eagles the win here. Not a big fan of the Jets cornerbacks. I don't think they have one good one capable corner of you get what I'm saying. I'm not a big fan of that Jets secondary. It's weak if you ask me. It's not their strong point. The Jets receivers are decent, but I don't think that the Jets offensive line is going to be able to deal with that Eagles offensive line. I think Zach Ertz is going to struggle versus that front. He's going to I think he's going to struggle versus that front and. Not Zach Ertz. Did I say Zach Ertz? I meant Zach Wilson. I don't know if I said Zach Wilson or not. I'm losing it. But point is, I'm taking the Eagles versus the Jets on Week 13. Week 14 is the bye week. Week 15, they're at home versus the Washington football team. I'm going to have the Washington football team sweeping them. I just like this Washington football defense a lot. I like that offense a lot more with Ryan Fitz leading the way, Terry McLaurin, Diami Brown. I'm going to take the Washington football team in both matchups. And then Week 16 at home versus the New York Giants, I'm actually going to take the Eagles in this one. I think that front is going to get to the Giants out of one of these games, and I think that front is going to get to Daniel Jones. I think it's going to make Daniel Jones fumble once or twice. That interior defense line is going to struggle versus them the second time around. They may struggle a little bit the first time around too, but that Giants defense may have been enough the first time around. But the second time, I have the Eagles pulling off the upset in Week 16 versus the New York Giants. Week 18, they're at home versus the Dallas Cowboys. I think I'm going to give the Dallas Cow. I don't know because by now, if that Dallas Cowboys offense line is hurt, it's a possibility. They're getting older, they're having struggle staying healthy. But you could go back and forth all day. But I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys. I think that Dallas Cowboys offense is still going to be enough to handle that Eagles defensive line, whatever. So I this schedule was really difficult for me to predict, man. A lot of games you go back and forth. A lot of games are really difficult. Raiders game was difficult. The Lions game is somewhat difficult. All the games are difficult to predict. I mean, really, but some games, I gave you my best realistic predictions. I gave it my all for this schedule. This schedule was really difficult to predict. Especially the state the Eagles are in, man. That defensive line is really good, and it's enough to win a few games. But other than that, when the teams have a good offensive line, teams going to struggle. It's going to limit their strength. So I don't know. It's a really difficult schedule to predict. It's a really difficult team to predict, especially in some games. So I don't have the Eagles doing the greatest. Yeah, I say like 3, 4, 5 wins is my prediction. Like I said, maybe the Atlanta game goes the other way. Maybe that offense struggles against that front. Maybe they do end up losing that San Fran game. Maybe they end up splitting with the Cowboys. Maybe they do end up splitting with the Washington football team. Maybe they end up getting swept by the Giants. You never know. Maybe they do end up beating the Saints, which I think is possible. Maybe they end up beating the Raiders. That's possible. Maybe they end up beating the Carolina Panthers. You know, there's definitely some games on here that I see realistically being able to win. Other games it's going to be really difficult, like the Kansas City Chiefs. Washington football team's going to be really difficult to beat. Tampa Bay. This is a weird schedule to predict. It's a weird team to predict just because that defensive line alone is enough to win any game. It's enough to, get a few upsets maybe even. Maybe they do upset the Chiefs in week 4. I mean, you never know, man. Because, that offensive line may still be healthy by then. That offensive line may be able to keep him off the field. Man, you just never know. So that's what I have for you guys today. Thank you for tuning in to the JDW Sports Talk Show. And I thank you for tuning in. I thank you for, watching the video, just chilling, let me know your guys' thoughts on the schedule. Give me your record prediction, and that's it. As always, I will catch you guys next time.